Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Let's crack on with today's first story, which comes from Majestic Camel 5566 and says, my wife, 34 female, cheated, but no sex and confessed. Is there any hope? A couple of nights ago, my wife of 2 years, together 6, went to a metal show with a friend who was providing a professional service to the band. She got to hang backstage beforehand for a couple of hours. I don't think much of this, she's done this before. It's a buddy system type thing, so her friend isn't alone with men she doesn't know. My wife wants to see and meets bands she's into. She texts me throughout like usual. She seemed off when she got home that night, but just said she was extremely tired and it was super late, so I didn't think much of it. The next morning, she confesses to me in tears that she ended up alone with one of the band guys for maybe half an hour, and they ended up talking, flirting, and then more. The extent of what happened is she sat in his lap, they made out. She felt up the outline of his dick through his pants. He asked for more and asked her to meet him after the show. She claims she said no to both. She says I can contact her friend to fact check, and they left together immediately after the show, but I haven't contacted her yet. She can't exactly give me the reason why this happened. She's a fan and was flattered by the attention and was just caught up in the moment and it was a mistake, etc. I mostly believe her, that's all that happened, but I'm having trouble imagining that I can get past this. I feel sick and like I'm in shock. I don't feel angry right now and I can tell my wife is hurting and guilty. I want to try and give this a chance at least, but I have no idea where to start. Has anyone had success with something like this? Or should I trust my gut reaction that I'll never feel the same about her? I think this post was deleted from another sub, but I'm desperate to connect with someone over this. I'm too ashamed to talk to my friends about it. Now, with the many stories of infidelity that we've covered over the years, we hear a lot of it, especially with infidelity stories, we hear a lot about trickle truthing, where slowly more bits of information come out, and I can't help, it might not be the case. It might be exactly what she's told you, but I can't help but feel you're not getting the full story here. And this is just from a personal point of view. If a partner came home and told me there's feeling someone's dick through their pants, that would be it for me. But Splunk Zop says, I toured with rock and roll bands for many years. I've dropped off women at home the next morning and have them ask me what they're going to tell their boyfriend and husband. You aren't getting the full story, and you probably never will. Her friend will never tell the truth either. Regular Bat says, I truly doubt all she did was feel him up through his pants. These band guys have groupies waiting for them all the time. She was excited that he picked her. At the very least, she gave him oral and probably got nothing in return, hence the total guilt. She feels used, and that's where the confession came from. I agree with many of the other posters concerning reconciliation. It's a hard road. Only you can decide. The rules others have laid down are the minimum starting point. NC Deep Diver says, I can't tell you what to do because you know her and your relationship better than anyone else. I know I would find it hard to get past. If that happened to me, I would feel my trust had been broken, and I'm not sure I would even be willing to try and put in the effort to get past it. I know she wouldn't be sitting in my lap and I wouldn't be kissing her. The absolute best she could hope for is to see the 180 from me, very little possibility of a path to reconciliation. I doubt she'd be able to do enough to regain my trust to the point where I'd want to make it work. She'd find me nothing more than a grey rock to her, and I wouldn't put forth any effort to mend things. Just the opposite. I'd be pulling away with everything I had. She'd also see me having the time of my life, just without her. I wish you the best. Brave Accident says you can contact the friend, but your wife and her may have already made up a story your wife contacted her after telling you. Check your wife's phone for messages and deleted messages. Does she have this banned person's contact information? Please consider making her get an STD test. You're going to feel a range of emotions. Think about therapy for yourself and possibly think about taking a few days away from the situation to clear your mind and make a decision about your future. You can recover from infidelity, but it is hard work. You need to take a few moments to think about what is best for you. Do you feel she was honest to you when she confessed? Is she remorseful? And one more comment from Kranok who says, and quotes, she was caught up in the moment and it was a mistake, and then says, nope. She was in the moment because she wanted to be there. Sat in his lap because she wanted to be there. touched his dick because she wanted to touch it. This wasn't a mistake. She hasn't put salt in your coffee instead of sugar. This was a decision. She knew the whole time from start to finish that this might end your marriage, and then she made a decision, not mistake, to continue. Do with that whatever you want. If I were in your shoes, then I would believe that she only hasn't went to the guy after the show because they already did the deed while she was in his lap, riding him. So please go to a doctor and get tested for STDs. Better safe than sorry. So OP comes back and says, I'm sorry if it's too soon for an update, but I got a lot more info, so I figured I'd share for the people that read my first post. Thanks for all the advice and just reading my story. If nothing else, I feel less alone in this. I figured she would just lie, but I decided to reach out to my wife's friend anyway. She asked if she could call me and that I should take it somewhere private, so I went out to my car. Here's how she told me how things went down. I put all of this in order as the convo was very jumbled. Prior to the show, my wife made some comments to the friend that band guy was attractive and asked her friend if she thought she had a chance, hypothetically. Friend said she thought it was odd, but figured she was being light and jokey. Band guy, who is 55 by the way, and my wife were flirting heavily and openly in front of the friend the whole time backstage, to the point where the friend texted my wife asking her what the fuck her problem was. Friend left them alone, not even close to half hour, maybe 10 to 15 minutes while she went to her car to put her supplies back and came back to find them as my wife described, sitting in his lap and making out. Prior to leaving them alone, she asked my wife to go with her, and my wife repeatedly refused. They broke it upon friend coming back. Band guy thanked friend for her services but called her a cockblock. He asked if they wanted to party after the show, to which the friend said no, and my wife said yes. Friend practically dragged my wife to her car after the show, and only then did my wife begin to panic about friend possibly telling me. Friend told her she wasn't sure what she would do. But her friend is pissed at my wife, and she told me she decided to cut her off. She feels she made her look unprofessional and like a groupie herself, and she's very mad. She had to walk to her car alone at night because of her, and she's disappointed in her for cheating like that. So there you have it. It's likely my wife didn't do anything more than what she said, but she definitely would have. She lied about it and tried to get ahead of the truth. Yeah, I'm done, I'm pretty sure. The comment on that post, the top one, said, sorry to hear it, man. There's no reason to stay with her after this. She didn't confess because she felt guilty. She confessed because her friend caught her. It wasn't a drunk mistake, it was premeditated. OP replies and says she even apologized for not seeing the signs sooner and stopping things before it came to this. I meant to mention that. I haven't even told her I know yet. I've barely spoken to her. She is sleeping in the guest room and has been told I need space for now. Also, it's so petty, but it makes me feel slightly better that she didn't get laid at least. Like she's going to lose her marriage and hopefully home, and she didn't get to fuck the other guy. That's something, I guess. OP then gives us one final update and says I'm going to try and keep this brief. I know I said I was done, but I just wanted to update since a number of people have asked. I appreciate again all your kind words and support. I asked my wife to give me a few days to think things over alone. She went to stay with a friend. She'd blow up my phone every other day or so, alternating between being apologetic and angry with me. She told her family I kicked her out. I eventually told them why, but I don't think they believe me. I did decide to divorce her, have a lawyer and get him ready to start the process. I'm not sure how that's going to shake out for me yet, but I don't feel I have another option. Whatever happens, I'm just glad we don't have kids together. I informed her and she hit the roof. We went through every stage, her crying and apologizing and making promises to getting angry and trying to make me sound crazy and downplaying what had happened. She said some awful things, how no one else would love me and what a failure I am for giving up on 2 marriages. Yes, this is my second marriage. Eventually I just hung up and haven't taken her calls since. She had a case to stay in the house, of course, but she's opted to move in with family. I left for the day while she packed her things to avoid her. I don't think she even has a lawyer yet, so things are sluggish, and even texting her is terrible, so I think I'm going to go no contact and just have my lawyer communicate for me. This part is petty, but I think it's only making me feel a little better right now. I met with her friend, the one who informed me, and her wife for a beer. She's still friends with my wife's other friends and let me in on some gossip. Wife has tried hitting up the musician on Instagram and has gotten nothing back. She's deluded that she had a connection. It's almost sad. Her friends all think she's crazy and fucked up hugely by doing all this. They make fun of her behind her back. It's kind of brutal. Her telling me how sorry she is and still trying to get with this other guy is sick, but I know I made the right decision. I'm not going to lie, I'm in a really bad place. I don't know how I could be so wrong about someone. I know all the advice about working on myself, but right now I'm just getting through the days. And one comment to OP which said, dude, I'm sorry that you're going through this. I remember reading your story. You were doing what you need to do to protect yourself. You didn't give up on a second marriage. She gave up on it when she cheated. Hang in there and know that you've got people pulling for you. OP says thank you. My first marriage wasn't bad. We just got together super young, had kids super young, drifted apart. He's a good person. Now I wish I had fought harder for that marriage, to be honest. Hanging in there, thanks. Nothing much has changed. I never understand, and it happens like in all infidelity stories when it's finally getting to the point of them, completely splitting up, and they, like OP said in this one, they went for every stage, her crying and apologizing and making promises, then to getting angry and sounding basically abusive in this and downplaying what happened, saying, how no one else will love you, what a failure you are for giving up on 2 marriages. I mean, I guess it's just complete desperation, but what do they expect to happen when they're saying like, you sound crazy and no one else will love you? You expect them to go, oh yeah, you're totally fucking right, let's get back together. Hell no. And she was trying to hit up on the band member on Instagram as well afterwards. Holy moly. Like you said, OP, you're better off out of that relationship. Like, I know it's like I always say, it's very easy for me to say, you're the one who's hurting. You're the one that's gone through it. And I'm incredibly sorry that you have gone through it. And I hope whatever comes out of this in the end is a positive for you and your life moves in a positive manner because you truly deserve it. Now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. And our next story does come with an update as well. I'm going to give you a warning just in case. I haven't read the story yet, but I can see from the title it's going to be one of those. If you're eating right now, you might want to skip the story. Please feel free to do so. Timestamps are always down in the description and along the timeline below. This is from Please Clean Your Junk, who says, would I be the arsehole if I break up with my boyfriend because of his hygiene? I, 24 female, am too old for this. Oh dear, dear, dear. I am not a clean freak either. I met my boyfriend 6 months ago. He was a little hippie, which I didn't mind, so a little about him. He's a hardcore vegan. He is someone you can call an environmentalist. He thinks a lot about the environment. He only buys clothes from shops that are locally owned. He's big on recycling things. He doesn't use toothpaste but a mezwak. Just jumping in with a little Google article here. It says mezwak is a traditional chewing stick prepared from the roots, twigs and stem Salvadora persica and has been used as a natural method for tooth cleaning in many parts of the world for thousands of years. OP continues, he is also anti-shave, though he trims his beard. Ever since I was with him, I always had this hunch that he is not washing properly. We do not live together, so I'm not at his house more often. He always smells like spices, so I had no idea his hygiene was so bad until now. I mean, I noticed it. He never shaved down there. I always had a funky smell from his junk. He doesn't have cleaning supplies in his house. I asked about it and he said he doesn't use chemicals that will harm the environment. He uses vinegar and lemon to clean stuff. It was odd, but I get it. I let it slide though. It should have been my first red flag. Now I have come to the last straw. Last night when I was in his place, I was using the bathroom. After I was done, I didn't see toilet paper. This is one thing I used to be glad that he kept in his house, though I'm someone who prefers a bidet. I asked him to give me some toilet paper because he ran out. He told me he threw away all the toilet rolls because they clogged the draining system and go to the ocean, which then causes toxicity in fishes, plus it wastes money to make toilet papers. I asked him, then what does he use to wipe himself? He told me he has switched to reusable toilet paper a month ago. He just uses these and throws them in the washing machine. I wanted to vomit there. I'm thinking about ending things because I cannot deal with this thing my entire life. Am I wrong? And we'll start with JRM, who says no one's an arsehole here, but like 6 months. You dated this guy for 6 months and now you're finally realizing this ain't for you. If he wants to be the greenest human being alive and subsequently smelt like arse, that's his prerogative. But you don't have to date anyone you don't want. OP says, I always wondered why he smells like lemons. I just realized he probably makes his own deodorant with water and lemon juice. But in my defense, he is really, really sweet. He would always feed me with his hands and give me foot massages. Our sex life was amazing, but none of that is worth this shit. The Thora of Dog says he definitely sounds like a diehard hippie who sincerely wants to save the planet. And that's not a bad thing. Obviously, you don't have to stay with him if you can't tolerate his concept of hygiene. But if he's sweet and great in bed and an all-around good guy, you might consider having a serious chat with him before ending things. Tell him your concerns honestly. Maybe discuss options. Suggest compromises. I'd try that route before just walking away. Range Shoddy says, the toilet paper is the least of my concerns here. It's a thing, just like cloth diapers. You can wash reusable toilet paper in the washer and it's fine. It's not something I'll do, but it does clean. Well, wait. What does it use for detergent? You have to use enzymatic detergent for it to actually get clean, so maybe not. The worst part is the lack of soap. That's gross. Vinegar and lemons aren't antibacterial. They won't kill germs. They won't remove oil and grease, but it will just smear it around. So his body is covered in oil and grease and bacteria that is just smeared around. I bet it smells atrocious. It's also unhealthy. You're going to get a UTI from his balls, girl. There are natural soaps you can use, and toilet paper dissolves in water, so he's either ignorant or being willfully ignorant. Move on. Dire Spark says, another issue here is that your boyfriend seems fucking stupid, probably indoctrinated. His obsession with vinegar and lemon and swearing off all chemicals. Let me guess, he's anti-GMO too. Really shows a lack of critical thinking on his part. There's 8 billion people on this planet. Living this radical environmentalist lifestyle isn't doing anything for the planet except making him smell bad. Not the arsehole. So, OP did come back with an update and they said, hi, I just wanted you guys to know I broke up with Mr. Reusable Toilet Paper. I know a lot have advised me to talk it through. I realize the issue is not just toilet paper, it's everything. I'm a bit of an uptight person, but he is not. We are two different people. Every time I am with him, I always have to eat vegan food in fear that I will offend him. I love meat. Sorry, vegans, but that's just my lifestyle. So I broke it off with him. He was sad. He cried and told me that he will never forget me and I was the one and only person who had spiritual purity in me. I don't know what that means, but it is over. I wish it was over then and there until yesterday when I visited my friend's Gabby's house. When she saw me at the door, she looked like a deer in the headlights. She's also a bit of a hippie, but nothing like my ex. I noticed there was the strange lemony smell along with weed. I saw my ex was high on her couch. He waved hi to me. My friend told me she found him being sad in our usual hangout spot. He was singing a sad song. They're sleeping together. Furthermore, they're sleeping because he needs healing. Apparently, he was very emotional and depressed that he slept with my friend to cleanse my memories. I'm done. I'm not mad, but I do not trust Gabby anymore. She and Mr. Reusable Toilet Paper can live happily ever after with their stinky, unvaccinated babies for all I care. But I am questioning my friendship with Gabby now. I am fine. I feel like I dodged a bullet. I can go back to eating steaks and chicken without worrying. What a weird update. The guy was just in their usual hangout spot singing a sad song to himself. I mean, whoa. And then just decides to sleep with one of their friends to heal himself. I can't help but picture the guy sat there. I just sort of got this image of this bearded guy sat next to a tree with a guitar singing away to himself. She got fed up with my stinky junk. Now I'm in a bit of a funk. Oh, don't get me started. I shouldn't take the piss. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? What would you do in it? Maybe you think like some of the comments in the original post, like before the update and he started sleeping with other people, that there was a conversation to be had. Do you possibly think he was sleeping with Gabby before all this happened, or maybe not? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being involved, truly, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.